performance, but scrap all that aside, I think actually this is a real opportunity for Guild to kind of follow up on what has already been, I don't want to say an overperformance, but almost a dominating performance in terms of control, right? Yes, we look at Icebox as a loss, but certainly much closer than it should have been.
Yeah. And look, if we've known anything from Valorant, if you have that target on your back for a while, being deemed as the #1 team, everyone looks at you and they try and work it out, right? Like every single team from every region has felt that pressure, and it's interesting to see it now kind of showing here a fair amount as well, because I think on paper a lot of people would have seen G2 as arguably a favorite throughout. But this will be interesting to see if this continues forward. I'll turn of the flash here, and well checked by Cinnamon. Clears Giuliano out of that B site. The on hand flash, and away we go. Zaz gonna lead on in. We have players tucked towards hell and one towards heaven, and we see that utility setup, but dealt with well enough to at least facilitate the cross. But Victoria with the swing out, finding Zaz. Can't get the follow-up, but Roxy's there up on heaven and sends down to Mimi, and Glance go down. Spike is planted, but Petra put in pretty undesirable situation, but the timing could be everything. Gets the first. It's not as clean as she'd like, but it's good enough. Now they both swing to check on it. Oh gosh, Smurfette gets back in time. Roxy does fall, but still first on the board for Guild, but you can see a little bit of spice coming out with G2 now.
And there's a scenario where Petra actually finds both of those and makes it really interesting possibilities.
And this round shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's the upgrade of a Frenzy and a Ghost, and that's about it. Mimi and Giuliano are going to have that. Everyone else pretty much sat on the Spectres. I quite like that position towards Wine. Hopefully they don't get too isolated and Smurfette can kind of play off the back of it. So this should be a clean one for Guild, unless something goes, you know, drastically wrong. But I do like what Tom brought up about seeing Zaz now on something that's got a little bit more battle to it, and actually a close-in towards Wine. Giuliano isolates Victoria, something that we were hoping we didn't see. And it was very quick as well. There is one player leasing towards Tree on short. Lovely underhand flash. Zaz showing off now. This is not the dream scenario the Guild would have wanted. Spike now down. Cinnamon and Roxy having to play this back in. And there are a couple of upgrades now. Those Spectres are to be kept in hand. Mimi and Giuliano are going to have those. As Cinnamon already going to take a chunk of damage down to 55. And there's just so many bodies on the site. They could clean this out, though. They do have substantially better weaponry, but they're just being worked away at, chipped away at. The chip damage is substantial enough. 3 players tucked towards hell. And a flawless, thrifty round pushing towards the ace.
It was one back and forth either way for the first 4 rounds. I think really thrown into this a couple of shorties and a Marshall in the hands of Smurfette Guild. That's a big, big flip for G2. They can build upon that now. Victoria looks curious to go exploring, but just going to tuck inside the smoke for the time being. You're happy to wait it out.
If you're against this sort of purchase, potential classics or shorties, you know you've got to check close, and that underhand flash from Zaz should be coming out, or just whatever clear they decide is the option. And it looks like just a lead on in. Get a body block, but really it's Kim to do the damage. Going to find 2. The trade out does come for Glance in the end. Now, if anything else happens, that's where it gets interesting. Mimi is going to be keeping track of at least Cinnamon at this point, who's seemingly very aware of her presence as well. So, I mean, you already can see she's making it incredibly hard to be able to be caught on this. Mimi's backed away, can just split around spawn, doesn't have to overly stay or welcome, but she's bought them time. Now, the retake's going to be tricky because they're walking in relatively blind. They've had limited information, so they're going to have to clear quite diligently even to this point.
And Cinnamon has a shorty.
There's levels to this, yes.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to make anything really work here. Against a swing down, a waterfall out of heaven, nothing to find. Smurfette will get a consolation, but
yeah, that's a great point. We see the full buy come out, so this is a very, very telling round, and it looks like a little more attentive towards middle.
Pinged.
Did they both? Oh, I didn't know Smurfette got pinged as well. That's a problem. They have to instantly fall away from that approach.
A little bit of a slip up with the recon bolt, I guess, strips away the setup in mid, but straight away, look, both players
love that. Yeah,
try and get proactive elsewhere and clear some of this space towards B main. Force G2 a little further away. I gotta be honest, even round 4, it feels as slow as it was on split, or at least as cautious as it was on split with G2. Definitely not as whether this is you see this as a couple of feeler rounds, at least the fact finders get a good grip of the setup from Guild.
Victoria is going to be so integral. They have 2 players actually on short now. This is massive. Kim's joined Victoria here. This is to deal with Giuliano, who's going to get one expected follow-up, but the trade comes in for Kim. So it doesn't give away everything just yet, but it shows a big indication that is going to be that A piece coming out. But already, Roxy going to be noted. Utility less viable at this point, as Zaz is going to be leading the way. 2 players going to swing out from heaven, though, and Roxy does find both, but 3 targets in line. Going to lose life to Mimi, and now a 3v2, but the positioning from Smurfette's great. Mimi's there, though, still, and it's a 1v2. 16 seconds, and maybe a 1v1 on...
What?
No shot, Mimi. But the spike, it's not to hand, and Cinnamon is there. I mean, if she had the spike, it could have been a...
D2's favor.
Revealing area.
Yeah. Different-ish look towards middle. Smurfette could be the one tucked in towards deeper mid. Giuliano seemed not necessarily paranoid, rightly so, this round. Now notes position. And Cinnamon already considered, so they know there's at least a 2-player middle. Smoke goes in. Keeps for safe passage, and it once again looks like this A-pinch.
And forced out this double stack in mid as well. Roxy positioned pretty deep, and Victoria also, so maybe just a tendency to give this one up. That lockdown retake. It'll be a full 5v5 by the time the spike gets planted.
Yeah, and you've got almost a triple stack towards, I don't want to say necessarily short, it's just because that KJ's there, so Heaven's going to be hard to control.
I think you're right, though. This is to address this exact plan.
Yeah.
From Roxy and the rest of Guild is this. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say they have to find this one, but Victoria falls early. The lockdown dealt with. Actually, Giuliano gets out.
And Zaz, in the meantime, just raining down fury. Finds Cinnamon, finds Smurfette. Now, Kim did get Giuliano, but Petra being that second string to the bow was still going to be waiting there. And G2, that Mimi, Petra, Giuliano, and Zaz all ready to rock and roll, but have to see if maybe Smurfette can get some damage in. Going to pop her ult here. Giuliano taking space. First time we've seen this B lean really come through. Cinnamon and Roxy going to be here. Giuliano going to get checked on early. You can see the breach in tow, so there could be a little set piece of a swing coming out for Roxy. It seems like they're quite cognizant of the positioning. And already Giuliano going to get straight on in. And so far, not much to write home about for Guild here. Looking to see if they can clear Roxy cleanly. No, but there's a quick trade for Giuliano. Good work from Victoria, but effective trades thus far for G2. It's not perfect. This is obviously pistols up against rifles. It's still damage done, but I'm looking at what can happen. It has to be Smurfette, right? She has to be the one to be able to find that next, I don't know, layer to this, something. And Victoria's HP is a problem. 20. And already considered and found early on. Smurfette, you gotta find a chance here now. It's almost gotta be a freebie. I don't know if they're gonna give them too much here. Petra gonna get the first bit of contact. And the stack, that's lovely. This could still be game on. Smurfette, though, now left with so little. Looking for that rifle, anything to fight with, because on the other side is Giuliano ready to rock and roll. And there's the rifle wanted, and now the defuse going to come in, try and get it towards half. There's the swing, and there's a round. It's a costly round for G2, but it's one on the board nonetheless.
Disabled.
There it is.
Called it.
Already. Yeah, on the money. And Roxy has to respect that. You have to back away. Give up the site for now. And play full retake.
How deep does G2 go here? That's the thing on the back of this ultimate. How deep do they try and solidify control? Everybody but one committed to site right now, which is a little surprising.
I thought maybe leave one. Yeah, it is going to put a lot kind of back on the shoulders of Glance potentially. And there's the divide coming in, but it's only towards Boathouse for now. There's going to be the KJ ult as well. And it's going to speed up the process here. Already Cinnamon going to be the one trying to go forward, but look at the utility. They came in quite quickly, and Victoria does find Giuliano. So Roxy going to just try and walk through the utility. It's not really worked out well, as it's going to be Mimi just farming up. They had a time limit to the approach, but man, it just didn't look pretty. 4 standing and out of stack, which is not a bad call, considering though the money's in that tricky spot where there could be a small investment behind it.
Standing ahead.
Sheriff's odds and ends. Always facilitating or implying that a stack could be a very viable approach, so gonna have to clear quite cleanly. This looks very similar to their A pieces that they lean into, but looks like that double approach on short. So it'll be Zaz working out potentially with Mimi not too far behind, but I want to see what the end goal is here, because they're still testing the waters.
Yeah, and the timing might actually be detrimental for Guild here. The Lampard doesn't seem to pull a rotation. Still 3 players committed towards A. Problem being, Cinnamon now has to be conscious that somebody pushes through market because there's nothing watching that right now. And with no mid player committed on the back of this 3 stack towards A. G2, I don't think have a
30 seconds left.
great idea of what's behind this, to be honest.
No. And you can tell they're walking in a little blind. Victoria's going to find one, and that's not ideal. Smurfette's going to punish Giuliano there, who's really banking on Kim with a perfect swing. And now suddenly G2 under the gun here. This is great work from Guild, and G2 almost looking like they're in their own heads at this point.
To control. It looks as if B main is going to be where Smurfette's going to swing. Probably on the other end of it. And G2 now trying to pick up on maybe some of that work they did earlier on in the half of addressing this mid setup. If they can do anything on the back of this space.
Oh, and Zaz, not necessarily the freest kill.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Not far from it. Single-handedly just going to power on through, and that's why we want to see the battle KO, and there's Mimi just cleaning house in the
Just
middle.
like that.
Yeah, now Smurfette's at least going to find one, but the spike's actually in a really tricky spot. Petra's still got that spike, so trying to slip away before it becomes a problem.
They wrap into
Allowed
B.
to be crossed to let Glance, you know, put up that smoke, kind of keep Smurfette tamed down for now, but yeah, they're wrapping all the way to A now. They've identified where Smurfette is, and they're like, don't need any of that. We're good.
Giuliano just going to stay posted up. I think the inclination here for Smurfette is to probably try and hold on to this. I think with the flawless Thrifty, everybody else should look okay financially. Find a couple of exits, that definitely makes it a lot more impactful. Don't expect G2 to go hunting here, not really worth their time or efforts. Make sure they remove this operator because there's nothing else beyond the purchase. I mean, if anything here, you're giving Smurfette the Blade Storm in the next round anyway. And I mean that from if she finds another kill or if they do remove look like to follow up, but Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury available.
Yeah.
To again sit very deep. Almost anticipating a little bit of aggression from Guild.
This line of utility on the way out, though. It'd be rough for G2 to get past. Victoria and Roxy. Nice little setup between the two in the previous maps. And already the inclination of presence is going to be felt. They've got 57 seconds to work with, but they've just lost one of the players on that B side. Smurfette making massive impact just finding Mimi there.
Yeah.
Takes away their options.
I was going to say, the fact that it's Mimi, they should be able to still stay with this A site setup. It will be the catalyst actually to draw out some of this natural utility. It will be the green light as well.
Rihanna has slipped quite deep in towards the site here. Does she get the clear on the site? She does. The response from Roxy, yes, it's decent, but the site's still under contest, and you can see there's so much utility put in. Pick up towards Glance, shut down by Zaz, facilitating the trade for Kim, but now Giuliano left in a 1v, well, 3. Not looking likely. Kim gonna find it. And it looks like it's gonna be that B set. And that's actually big info again. 2 players could be noted early on. Probably that's gonna tell, at least you know where that operator's gonna be. And the follow-up from the back, if anything, gonna spur on this push towards middle. Aldrone goes up, gonna see at least Giuliano, gonna see a fair amount actually. Denial of presence instantaneously, and Smurfette gonna, I guess, keep Glance tucked in on this. She can't really step out at this point.
Maybe that's Glance anticipating a push forward from Guild. It's very deep to have an operator posted up holding A lobby effectively. It's not just A main, it's A lobby. This is massive information. I think why we see Guild lean. Oh, was there a rifle spotted? Surely Smurfette knows. Yeah, surely.
It feels
surely.
too, yeah. The timing's everything. I mean, the barrel's not quite displaying now, but it does feel as though she's really keeping eyes on this. She's only going to take mid-control. It's down to 40 seconds now. And it does look like a B split's coming in.
No way.
The timing.
No way.
Glance makes it out.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
You want to
And away we go. G2 on towards the site here. Kim's going to commit towards the site itself, and you can see the instant response from the KJ. All goes in. You're going to be left down to about 20 seconds, but there's a response in kind, and that's going to be a problem to deal with. See if they can get much for it. No, Giuliano going to catch at least Kim, but they know that Roxy's going to be around. Now it's a push. Time, though, 10 seconds. They've got to make a go. And they clear Roxy. Game back on. Spike now going to be going down uncontested. I'm pretty sure they can't stop it. Petra, yeah, low HP, but it's fine. Alive enough for the plant. The walking wounded, sure. Zaz is low as well, so it's still got a chance in this. But Zaz does not care. Puts herself up for the trade. Worth her weight in gold at this point. Good spray, but can't quite find the connection, as it's just down to Cinnamon, who gets wrapped on by Glance. And G2 show a little bit of that B work that we hadn't.
Dismiss on the smoke. Allowed her to pass back through. It is actually crazy. Because that's a huge go. But that's a Cosmic Divide remove, which we saw kind of be the big factor for that B here.
That turret might have noted that push up in middle. I'm going to be interested. Now, we did see before that Roxy and I think it was Victoria played really well towards the site in combination, but for now, the site's under complete G2 control. The flags are up. It's all looking gravy for them. And the purchase coming back in, obviously, is not ideal. You're seeing what remains here. Smurfette and Kim aren't loving it. And then this comes through. Not going to help things on the play back in. Just the guns at their side, but Cinnamon well equipped and locked and loaded. Going to try and dip away, but it's Glance and Giuliano being the next layer to this, holding on to this round. And it is just denial from the site. You're right, it's...
I'm looking for the conversion here, either way, to make the second half interesting. Nice start from Giuliano.
Giuliano. What do they do? Not Smurfette, which is a little bit of a nuisance, but they're still going to make it towards site. Roxy's still there. Spike hasn't crossed. She's kind of on her own here, maybe a little bit deeper than expected, but Zaz will now note this. Victoria with a freebie towards Giuliano. I don't think you saw much of that, and Zaz going to have to dip back around, support towards short, as the Spike's going to go in, and I don't think they can really deny this.
Do still have two flashes on the way back in and the 0 point. Maybe just waiting for that cooldown for people to set up in position. Petra actually finds Victoria with the shock darts. Where was that?
Damn.
Was that behind Jen?
It looked like it was on Jen. And there we go. Off the back of the flash, they push together, but it's G2 finding two. Cinnamon and Roxy now down, leaving it all to Kim, playing towards Hell. And too many players and too much pressure over there. Diffuse comes in, and the retake looked actually not as problematic as I thought. I'm surprised for Guild. We saw the purchases in round 2 after a loss, and again, not as much impact done. Oh, Roxy down to 43 HP so early on. Trying to clear on the way through, but there are two players on the other side of this. And Giuliano playing towards middle, so they're going to feel all this pressure. This feels like a 3-2 split, and it is. But can Guild do much damage behind it? They're going to hear the Spectres. They're going to know there is a bit of a force buy coming out from them. And there we go. Zaz with the first frag towards Cinnamon. And Mimi going to try and push up on this and actually catches Roxy again. Now the site gets overwhelmed. So Smurfette's still going to land the shot that was required to get towards the site. But again, that's all they're going to get. Maybe one in Boathouse, one on the Spike. But look at the HP. Oh, Victoria still wins that. Okay. But looking at the numbers, it's not looking pretty. It's just Kim. Perfect on the first, but Giuliano's spacing was good to go.
That's big. You can never fault a team for, again, you go 8-4 down in the first half. Ultimately here, you're giving yourself, I guess,
Here.
Let's see Guild try and retrieve some of these orbs on both sides of the map. Actually, G2 showing a willingness to contest that orb, which is important in a round like this, as I've already noted.
Certainly not for free, is it? Seeing chip damage, not too much achieved in that.
And that's a kill.
Yeah. That's another.
Yeah. And lovely setup to deny that orb. It's key for Guild really to come out on top in terms of, yes, they're going to lose this, but gain in the bigger picture.
Blocking sight.
Well played from G2.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Had the interview earlier. And, yeah, buying's not a problem. We don't mind playing it.
Well,
We'll see, right?
we'll see. Yeah.
you're right. It does get a little weirder the further you go into some of these vetoes.
But for Guild, I'm not. It started looking quite strong, but then you know you have ended up at 4 now. That's a beginning and a half, right? You'll take that every day of the week. The perfect beginning for Guild. Maybe a chance into this. Yes, they are on the full buy. Yes, this is a bit of a bonus for G2. Maybe a slightly extended one, right? The way the rounds have played out is slightly unorthodox, but at this point, a round's a round. 5 is highly necessary, and old Tommy's putting up a fight.
Winning that 1v1, actually.
Let's go, Tommy. Clean work from Guild. This would be dreamy. Giuliano, already noted. Roxy in middle. Done. Okay, so Guild has to be this round. So important for Guild to get this. And I'm not even going to say cleanly. Like, we know it should be clean and you know, have as bare minimum 3 alive, all of that jazz. At this point, I'll just take the round.
Yeah, take the round. Because also, you look at the other side of it, the operator's online now for Giuliano, so...
Roxy, do you get a punish on 2 or just 1? Both. Okay, yeah. That's actually huge. They could potentially fall back from this and go explore that site, but... Now, hold on. If Glance gets here in time, just as, let's say, Victoria looks away... Oh, they're still clearing. They've fallen for it hook, line, and sinker, but just dipped away. Zaz just needs to play to time. They're going to hear this. Audio cue is going to be enough. Zaz is going to pop down, maybe a little underhand flash, show a little something, and there's no way you expect this timing. Victoria is dead on a plate, just put to bed, and now the 3 on the site are going to be in danger, but maybe Roxy's lurk could work out. Maybe they've lost track of her.
Zaz is checking for her, though.
Zaz, but the timing, she just checked. Maybe they've considered, okay, it could be towards heaven. It looks like they've made note of that there's a chance. They haven't got confirmation. Flash goes in and there's the punish. Maybe not being too aware of it. There's the turn. Zaz does catch Roxy, but it is just Zaz in a 1v2. And maybe I should never say just Zaz. That feels almost underselling the imperativeness of this. And there it is. Cinnamon plays it well from the back of Jen.
The Guild. If Guild can follow up on this, Giuliano escapes death initially. Goes down. Petra, what?
I don't know. Petra's getting geeky again. Okay. And look at... Zaz, how are you alive? It doesn't... like... just... Where is the HP? Can't even see it. Glance just found Cinnamon.
Got obscuring vision.
Gonna probably hear some steps here, maybe. Don't know. No, Zaz is already here. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. No one wants that.
Did they retrieve the second weapon? P1, obviously Glance has picked that Phantom up.
I don't see the second, so... Mimi has the ult, and now things get weird. Zaz is on the longest lurk of her life, trying to just make it there in time. Going to be considered and now seen, but Petra can't win that fight. The rifles come through on top here, and now Glance does have the rifle to work with. Is that they're still committing fully on this one. Okay, game back on. They are absolutely on this, and Zaz, 5 HP might be all she needs here. Yeah, still firing on all cylinders, but surely there's not enough time left.
No.
Surely she's run out of it.
It's even harder at this point with 5
Tommy.
HP to cross Tommy and try and do some further damage.
And the drop. And there it is. A valid attempt. You could see the potential.
Try and, I guess, catch the rotation at least, or backstab that possible lockdown being implemented. But that's a lot to lose on a round where it's just sheriffs coming in, basically.
This is big info. I mean, that should sell you the full story, but...
Yeah.
Okay, all behind it as well. Cinnamon gonna hit Zaz as well. That's...
What? A glance in the distance?
No shot. Giuliano's gonna try and get there in time, but by now that feels like a death sentence has been given to G2. Giuliano, this flank could be everything though. If Petra can maybe get one. No, can't do it. Smurfette's quite quickly to this. Rez comes in, Zaz back on the feet, but now Giuliano trying to make that timing feel right. Can they punish Smurfette? No, she did. Wait, Mimi caught Smurfette then. Giuliano now swings. The timing's perfect. Oh my word, Victoria and Kim, what has just happened? The timing on this could be good as well though. Kim with a punish, the trade comes from Zaz, and now Kim goes back in, and Zaz in a second lease of life will do what was necessary, and it's 12 on the board for G2, but they had to dig deep for that.
It really did. What a flank from Giuliano. Actually, that's actually crazy.
And the round still go G2 way anyway. I mean, 12-7 now. Guild. It had to have been almost perfect, right? They had to do that perfect run to try and pull this scoreline back, but now here comes the issue. But you can see the intention to try and speed up the process, but kind of cancelling out that. Mimi going to catch Smurfette on the push-up, and now all these rotations are in. A bit of chip damage done, but not enough to really make them worry. Giuliano, yeah, a little lower, but it's not the end of the world, and they're backing from this.
Yeah, Cosmic Divide invested in actually not going to be able to find entry to B site on the back of it. Ready here? Yeah, you can see straight away this audio being relayed. And actually, they have full control of A main, so it's going to be very tough for Guild to actually counter this. But Zaz will fall immediately. Mimi will find Victoria on the other side of things.
Push through towards heaven. Mimi's so aware of it, though, being such a nuisance in this position. Roxy deals with Giuliano. Gotta know there's more. Roxy again gonna find Mimi. It's down to a 2v2 here. Petra still stands, as does Glance. Cinnamon
Spotted barrel.
didn't. Oh, Petra just dominates Roxy and closes down the game. G2